What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about carbohydrates before exercise, specifically before leg day. And why leg day? Because the other day I posted on my Instagram my pre-leg day meal, which was egg whites and salsa. No fucking carbohydrates, very little fat in it whatsoever. Actually, egg whites, no fucking fat in it whatsoever. And the reason why I posted that up is because so many times I've had clients that start with me and I look at them and they adjust their fucking calories on different days for different body parts, and they fucking up their carbs on leg day because they're like, I gotta train fucking legs, so I need the extra carbohydrates. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, where are you guys getting this information from? They get it from other coaches, they get it from forums, they pull it out of their ass because they just think that it makes sense. Logically, if I eat a bunch of carbs, like, runners, they carb up before they go do, a marathon. It's not the same thing, okay? It's completely not the same thing. Back in 2007, I actually did a diet that was done by Chris Aceto. It was given to a friend of mine who then we adapted it to me. And it was a high, medium, and low carbohydrate zigzag carb cycling. And the workouts, there was no workouts that went with it. My workouts were just my workouts. Now, sometimes that very low carb day, which was like, I think back then it was like 80 grams of carbs, fell on a leg day. Sometimes it fell on a shoulder day. Sometimes it fell on, an arm, whatever. It fell on different days because it rotated through high, medium, low, 6 days. So you have 7 days in a week, and it would vary from week to week. I noticed no difference in my performance in legs or shoulders or arms or fucking anything by not having those carbohydrates before my workout. And I didn't need science to tell me that. I already knew that. And that's why so many times I've had, I write up a diet for someone, or I tell them, explain to them, this is what you're supposed to do. And they're like, well, what about leg day? Shouldn't I have more carbs on leg day? And it's like, why the fuck do you need more carbs on leg day? Like, what do you think is going to happen when you eat those carbohydrates before you go into the gym and fucking train? What do I'm curious about it. So I put up the picture on Instagram, and Stephanie Cole, shout out from, she's from my area. She's like a bikini competitor. Sent me the link to the science behind it, to the study. And we'll just read basically what this thing says. It said, let's get down to the point where it says, exogenous carbohydrates, okay, which is from outside the body. I don't know how you would get a carbohydrate from inside the body because it's glycogen or glucose, so I don't know, whatever. Before repeated bouts of different types of anaerobic exercise. Anaerobic, not aerobic, okay? Not long distance fucking running, nothing like that. Anaerobic, which relies on the phosphates, okay? Mostly phosphates, but also muscle glycogen, okay? Different types of anaerobic exercise, has been shown to have no benefit on performance in adults. This might result from the increased dependency on muscle glycogen as a substrate during anaerobic exercise. However, it did show that carbohydrate consumption before, during, and repeated 1-minute sprints at 100 to 130% of VO2 max, was 3-minute rests up to 60 minutes. They were doing this. Reduced perceived exertion for the legs. The time of exhaustion increased significantly compared to the placebo beverage consumption. At present, the effect of exogenous carbohydrate administration on repeated bouts of anaerobic exercise in children is unknown. Now that's kind of interesting. Children's body work different than adults' bodies. Now, if you boil it right down to it, some people would be like, hey, a body's a body. It doesn't matter if you're a kid or... No, things are fucking different when you're kids and when you're adults. But plain and simple, this actually comes from the International Journal of Medicine, Nutrition, and Exercise Metabolism. In 2007, this came out. Okay, this study came out in 2007. The study was examining the effect of pre-exercise carbohydrate feeding on performance on a Wingate anaerobic test, which it was 11 boys, blah, 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 2-minute recovery period, performed 30 minutes, or it was 2 males, not boys, performed 30 minutes after consuming the carbohydrates or a placebo drink. Peak power and mean power were similar between trials, so it means there was no difference. There was no difference between taking the carbohydrates or taking just water. Pretty much, that's it. There was no difference. Pre-exercise glucose was significantly higher in the carbohydrate, but post-exercise values were not different. Blood lactate was similar between the trials and increased over time. The study found that the ingestion of carbohydrate solution before exercise did not influence power output during repeated performances. Okay, so basically, at the end of your workout, there was no difference whether you took the carbohydrates in or you didn't. Okay, but here's the deal. If you're taking in extra carbohydrates and your body's using muscle glycogen, people that usually do this also say, well, fuck, I got to refeed my body at the end of it to get my body to recover. So next thing you know, they're taking in a shitload of carbohydrates after the workout because they think they got to replace what they just fucking burnt. Now, guess what? What they just fucking burnt was their muscle glycogen, which is going to be replaced by the shit you ate before. Where do you think all those fucking carbs you're eating after are going to be put? You think all of a sudden your body's going to fucking realistically say, shit, let's just fucking absorb all this shit like a sponge and let's overcompensate and have a super carb loading fucking fun day because it was leg day? Fuck no, that's not what happens. What happens is whatever's left over that doesn't get used for muscle glycogen and liver glycogen, muscle glycogen usually because it's after your training, is going to get stored as fat. It's not going to fucking miraculously turn into fucking amino acids and build muscle. It's going to turn into fat. So, yes, people get results, but are they getting optimal results? Are they getting the fastest results they possibly can? This came out in 2007. So all those people that are doing that stuff now, that you're picking it up from forums or coaches or whatever the fuck you're talking, in 2007 is when I figured it out on my own. Like, I don't need to know the science behind a lot of things to know what works and how it works. I just don't know the science behind how it works. I know that if I cut my carbs, I'm not going to fucking die on leg day because I didn't have 50 grams of carbs before my workout. I know that if I don't have carbohydrates before my shoulders, I'm not going to not get a pump. Like, when's the last time you didn't get a pump? Probably didn't have carbs for many days in a carb depletion. Not because you didn't have extra carbs before the workout. So, you know, it just goes to show that there is an application in sports for the carbohydrates before and during. And it seems like it's not anaerobic. It seems like it's more of aerobic that it is beneficial. Hence the running, the long distance runners, even the sprinters, which are explosive in the beginning but actually go into the aerobic pathway afterwards. It has applications there. But you guys, when you're going to do legs, don't go to fucking Donut King and fucking load up on donuts. Don't go to IHOP and eat 50 pancakes because you're going to go do legs. And then don't immediately go back to IHOP afterwards and carb up on waffles and syrup and shit because you think you need it. Look in the mirror. That's why you're fat. Understand this shit. It's easy to find, and I didn't look for it. I'll be honest with you. Stephanie sent it to me. But, I mean, all you'd have to do is look up how do carbs work during the workout. How do carbs work before the workout. That's what I actually Googled to see how it came up. How I would find this in is pre-workout carbohydrate consumption effects on exercise. I Googled that and immediately this study came up, which is the study she was talking about. She told me about. So if I could find this that quick by using keywords, so can you. Just stop being so goddamn lazy and go on these forums and shit and listening to people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about and do the research for yourself. You would have found this yourself and found a key to getting faster results. Biostraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. It's the no carbs before my workout. Bicep and we're out.